Hello everyone and welcome back to another Division 2 video. Today with a little bit of a different video as we are going to make the very objective tier list for how fun divisions are to play. So for those of you who haven't gotten the message, it's not going to be objective at all. I do my best, but of course it will always be subjective to some degree. So this is one I just wanted to make because it's fun and I wanted to share with you guys. As I said, this is going to be very subjective, but I try to, at least make it a little bit more objective with these kind of tiers. And what that means is, so basically, we can sort things in there. Now, I've ordered these in a way that I personally like to play divisions. How I would rate fun. But, how you want to, where you want to put these tiers is totally up to you, right? So this is why I did it that way and not just A to F tier, S to F tier. Because now, you can actually, you can decide that this is for you maybe up here, or that the strong ones are right up here, or you prefer the fun, challenging ones, these kind of things. So that's kind of the idea, to make it a little bit more objective. So of course, where I put some divisions might be debatable. I'm sure you will not agree with everything, and I'm actually really happy to hear your thoughts in the comments then. So just quickly to let you know how this is going to work. So I'm just going to put it where I think it belongs, of course. I'm going to split the video in two parts because otherwise it's going to be too long. So I, of course, want to say a few words for each division as well as I put it there. And what I consider when some, like, it's just cool divisions. Okay, what's a cool division, right? That's personal, of course, personal preference. But what for me makes a division interesting and fun and cool is there has to be something interesting to it. Like, it has to be the mix of tools that you get, maybe as a special unit, and has to have some of a theme that actually works. The division is just like bland. It has a bit of everything, and it's nothing is special of that. In my opinion, is not that interesting because, yeah, it's just about all the standard stuff. Now, that division can, of course, be super strong because it has all the good standard stuff from a certain faction. But for me personally, it's not that interesting. But for some of you, it might, right? So I am just going to rate this about the uniqueness of the division. Like, how unique is it? How many special units does it have? I'm not going to provide any numbers, but you know what I mean. It's kind of that kind of thing. Again, the mix of units can make a unit, a division very unique as well. If it's a rare, not unique units, but rare units in a certain faction, you have more than one combination. That can make a unit quite interesting division. So let's dive into it. So first we have first Modulas. This one is this one. Cool division and also fun to play. There's maps where you have issues at 2K, but it has, of course, unique units. It has a slightly better pentagram, but it's all right. You have some of the Hungarians, you have lots of Tyrans, and we have the Raidpinier, I think it's called, Double Flamer. So the unique units are not super unique, but it is interesting. It is fun, and that's a really cool and nice combination of tools. I will put it into this one, but maybe it's more of a situation where I think it could be in both. It's definitely not one for 2K maps, but on most other maps than Slisk West and maybe Astronomer, you will likely have fun with this. Maybe we take out Sienna out of that part as well. But other than that, you really can have a lot of fun with this division on many maps and in a lot of matchups. It's just a nice one. Also, one thing that I personally like about divisions is if they're also a little bit challenging. And this one definitely has its challenges. It's not like you have to work around every problem you face, but you have to think a little bit. 10th tank. This is, I will put it here at best. We could also put it into this one, which we probably should rename to, I don't know. Okay, I guess it's okay. Reason why I put it there is these two are kind of for tiers for everything. These two, by the way, are very, very strongly influenced by what I think about these divisions. The reason for that being, it's, now we put this at decent. So, because it's decent, it's not a bad division. The issue with it is it's about as standard as it gets for Soviet tank division. The only thing that it has a Panther and a Tiger. Or maybe it has two of one of them. I'm not 100% sure. Other than that, all the standard tools. It's not bad. Like, it's a decent division. That's why it sits in decent. It's just not super interesting, unfortunately. 116th. Goes to cool division, but more situational. It has a really fun mix of armor, especially now with, always technically, it has had a lot of light armor that you can take with some units. However, they also are crazy expensive. Now they are cheaper, and I think they also put them, I'm not 100% sure if they are available for more units now than they used to be. Not 100% sure, but they're definitely cheaper now, so you can actually afford them, like the light armor transports. Also, it has a cool mix of units. You know, you get a lot of Axis goodies, some of which you don't see very often. I think you get the Jagdpanzer Su-76. Might be, no, I don't think it's not, this one doesn't, I think. But you get Panzerfreeze. You get the Jagdpanzer 4, all the mighty tools there, of course. And I think the Ersatz Pioneer as well, which is pretty decent. So fun unit there. Nordland. This one goes to meh for me. Reason being, maybe decent. It has a special unit, which is the AR, the bomber version. It's not the only division anymore with that kind of plane. But other than that, there's just not much to it. We're going to be honest. The only thing, like, the bombers are nice and all, but it's just faster bombers, and they're not even incredibly fast. I mean, for the loadout, yeah, maybe, but they're not like super strong. And other than that, it just doesn't really have a lot. You have not that many tanks. You don't have a lot of most things. Also, by the way, in terms of difficulty, I would put this mid. This is high. This is low. This is also low, I would say. Low to mid, because again, you can't, it's just hard to work with because you don't have a lot of tanks, you don't have a lot of good infantry. After that, you get the Panzergrenadier MG26, which is okay. It's not a bad unit, but if you have to rely on it, not a lot of fun. 12th, this, in my opinion, is unique and fun, but hard to find a good game, in my opinion, because it's just so easy to... Oh, no, it's Tartalik. My bad, sorry. 25th at the start. That's a different one. 12th is no fun allowed. I mean, it's an infantry division and it's bad with its infantry. It is technically unique, as in you get, I think, one or two special units that this division has, but they're not good. Like, they completely suck. And the whole combination is just lackluster. You don't have a lot of anything to work with. The division doesn't know what it wants to be. It is also very hard to play, by the way. It is definitely challenging, but this one is a bit too challenging. You know, for the challenge to be fun, you need to have some tools that you can rely on. You cannot rely on anything in this in this division. 122nd, this is meh for me. It is unique. It is not a lot of fun though. It has a fun combination of Axis and, well, it's also Axis, German and Finnish tools, but just not the best Finnish ones. And some good German ones, but a lot of also not so good German ones. And the combination is cool. It just completely fails at doing what it wants to do. So this cannot be above meh for me personally. Difficulty to play, intermediate, I think. But you're not super likely to find a fun game. Next up, now this one goes to one of my, this one goes to one of my favorites, 126th Gorno Strelki. If I want to put it accurately, it's going to be right here. Okay, because it is very cool. It has a lot of unique units, a lot of unique CQC units, a very unique tank type. Also, the combination of tools and the phase locking makes it very unique. It makes it very interesting to play, as you really have to work hard with all the tools that you get in each phase. And it's a lot of fun. It also has some very strong tools, but also some significant weaknesses, like not having any actual medium tanks till B phase, till C phase. The ones in B phase are okay, but they have their issues too. You don't have any bazookas. You have a lot of other issues, but you have so many special infantry units in the infantry tab, in the recon tab. Then you have your special artillery piece, and all these kind of things. I personally like it a lot. It's a lot of fun to play. It is tricky at times, and sometimes a bit too tricky, but at the end of the day, really fun. Now, this one, Lovash, I think I'm going to put it into cool division, but more situational. It's a Hungarian one, but it has a lot of fun infantry to play with. It has a decent mix of good Hungarian tools and some other tools, especially some axe tools like the Jagdpanzer 38T, the Hetzer. There's things to work with. It is also challenging in a few matchups, which for me personally makes it interesting to play. So yeah, it is a cool one. But again, it's more situational. There's a lot of maps where this can't really play. There's also plenty of division matchups where I don't want to play this, which I think, makes it so that this spot is well deserved, but can't be higher than this. 12th SS. It's decent. The unique thing about this division is that all your infantry is fanatical. That's about it. Other than that, all the standard Axis stuff. Nothing special. But you have light armor and such, so it is not bad. You can actually play with this relatively well, and it works. You can play it on a good amount of maps, I would say, especially now with the Sturmpire buff, because this division, like a lot of Axe divisions, relies on that for its CQC. So, you can play this. You can probably have success. It's just not super interesting. But it's not, it's not strong, for sure. 14th Infantry is also a meh one. It has some units that might have been unique when it came out, but it's not the only one it has. It has like the Begleiter Pioneer or the Begleiter Grenadier, maybe both. It has some looks, but they're not unique to this division anymore either. And otherwise, it just doesn't really work well together with what it has, because another of these infantry divisions is not good infantry, and then the armor that you have, other than the looks, don't really mix in well with that, because they're very relying on Tigers. It's just all these kind of things that make this kind of meh, in my opinion. 15 Scots. By the way, again, for difficulty, I always forget it. I would put this at hard to play. This one is also hard to play. This one is easy, I would say, relatively at least. This one is medium. 15 Scots is one of the difficult one, but where are we going to put that? For the average player here, probably. Simple reason being that there's a lot of maps where you can't easily play that. It's hard. We've already kind of counted for that. We can ignore that to some extent. But this one is just, in my opinion, not super easy to get a good game. It actually has tools for about every range that you can get. So maybe don't do justice here. Maybe it should be here. I guess you're going to do it in the immediate one, even though it's probably a bit more unique than okay in uniqueness. You have all the churches that you want. You have some fun light armor. You have the strong British Air Force and all these kind of things. So there's actually a lot of uniqueness in this one. There's a lot of fun to play too. It's not easy. And you have a lot of, Commonwealth infantry, some of which is not very good. It has its moments. It just feels good somehow, even though playing it sometimes feels relatively bad. Next up. This, if I am not mistaken, is 16th. Let me double check. So this is 5th, right? So this, it should be 16th. Now I forgot what it was. We're just going to do both of them, because they're both going to be in the same spot. Because I looked at them, because I never played them. And so, yeah, I'm going to be, by the way, just to be clear about that. So if you feel like I missed something with one of the divisions, the one that I haven't played up here so far, or at least not in quite a while, was what was again? 12th, I think. And 14th I also haven't played in ages. And 10th. So those, if you feel like I'm missing something, that might be the reason. Both of these are going to meh. They're just very generic Axis armor divisions. And Axis armor divisions are just not that good. They will shine, especially one of them has a king, maybe both. I think one doesn't, but the other one has a king tiger. Which I guess gives a little bit of uniqueness. I give it that. But it's just, yeah, they miss so many things. They lack infantry. They're good on squares. They're good on maybe Astrono, and you can play like on Siena or something, I think, as well. But other than that, they're just not very fun. They just have nothing that really drives them forward, that makes them super interesting. They're just very meh at the end of the day. Both in terms of interesting level, but also, yeah, strength. There's many maps where you will get something better than this available. 1715 is Ziona. Unique and fun, but hard to find a game. Or a good game, for sure. This is a CQC division, and it is very much constrained to that type of map, and that just means that it will lose out in a lot of areas. And then the other problem is a lot of CQC divisions are doing this better than that. So it just sits in a rough spot. It is very unique. It has a lot of it has the finish units, which are not too common to begin with, but then it also has some very unique finish units that you only find in this division. And that makes it very interesting, in my opinion. It's a cool one, a fun one to play if you like spam and all these kind of things. I would say it's actually not. It depends. It can be super hard to play in some matchups. It can be relatively easy. I would say mid difficulty to play. It definitely is challenging in some ways, though, and that makes it fun for me personally. Next up, 17th SS. I'm gonna put that to strong, but not interesting. I think it's still strong these days. It has a very powerful mix of units. It's definitely not the powerhouse it used to be, but it's definitely better than decent. The one thing that it has is the Legionary. This is the only special unit in here, and yeah, that can be interesting. But for me personally, it's not interesting enough. And other than that, it just doesn't really have anything special. But it has a strong mix. It is powerful. You can play. You're probably gonna have fun on most maps. So I think you're probably gonna have a decent amount of fun with this one. And you should not get disappointed if you play this in the queue, because again, you can play it on a lot of maps, and it should be relatively easy to find a game that suits it. Yeah, difficulty mid-tier, not easy. 184th. Unique and fun, but hard to find a good game, or meh, one of the twos. It doesn't have any special units that I'm aware of. Maybe like a leader version of a tank that you otherwise don't get as a leader. Maybe that, because I think you get the... I forgot the name. You know, the one with 2 guns, the American one that you also have in 126 Gonstrelki. Is the M3 Lee, maybe? I think it is. But it's, I mean, you know, having this as a leader versus having it as a normal tank, I know it makes a difference, but it's not that unique at the end of the day. But it has a fun mix of light tanks and infantry, and then I think it actually has the rocket TU2, I think. I know that 358 has it. If we find it, I can't see it right now. Yeah, this division has it, but I think this one has it too. It doesn't have enough special stuff. We're gonna put it to meh. 19th tank. You've probably seen that if you watched one of my latest playing a division video. By the way, this is difficult to play, I would say. And you're very much hoping for CQC map, otherwise you're not going to have fun. On Cell, yeah, it will probably do well. Oh no, actually I forgot. No, it is up here. You get IC122S as well. It just has, it is this weird combination of having this super heavy tank and then having all the light tanks that you can want and a ton of infantry. It's just in a weird spot. But actually, I think it's fun enough to be there. 19th tank, meh. If you've watched one of my latest playing a division, as I said, you might have seen this. It has a theme, but it's just not playable on most maps. And that puts it into the meh tier. I don't think you can put it higher. Maybe you can put it into no fun allowed. But the thing is, this thing will actually win on some maps. This will probably not win on any map, unless your opponent picks another of the non-fun allowed ones. But even some of them are better than this. So I think I'm going to put it to meh, because it has, it has a map where it can work, and that's 2K. It has about all the heavy Soviet tanks that you could want. You really like cheap medium ones and things like that. Blindata. It's either decent or meh. I think I'm going to put it into the meh tier. It has some cool Romanian units, but it's mostly just a division with lots of Panzer IVs and Stück 3s, and a lack of AT guns, support weapons, not a ton of infantry. I can't remember what the Air Force looks like, to be honest. Recon is actually okay-ish. I have some fun units there. But at the end of the day, it's just nothing outstanding. in the grand scheme of things. And there's just not that many matchups where I would say you want to pick this, really. And as for the maps, yeah, most maps that this division wants to play on, which in my opinion are not the 2K maps, you have Rashica, but it's not, you don't want to go against dedicated 2K divisions with that. Most maps that this wants to fight on, which would be mid-range, there's plenty of divisions that do that better. Like this. It's one of those, not one of those two actually. So this is kind of, you can play it on a decent amount of maps and in a decent amount of matches, but it's not always the right choice compared to this where it's like very specific. It is very powerful. It is the king of mid-range maps. It can be counted for sure. I would put it, maybe put it here. Here, I would say this one gets here a bit more by the strength. This one gets in here a bit more with the uniqueness. But it is kind of it's still very fun. A little bit intermediate. This one is actually pretty strong. Again, you have a lot of cool Soviet tools. You have about very good, all the good Soviet mid-range tools. And then your infantry is a little bit better because it has SVTs instead of rifles. And that makes it really cool. Other than that, there's not that much uniqueness in there. It's basically just Soviet units with 2 Soviet line infantry units with a little bit of a twist, and the rest is all the standard Soviet stuff. That's about it. EFL, cool division, and also likely a fun game. Well, meh. No, I think it can sit up there. It's a bit of a tough one. It's somewhere in between here, I would say, because it has a decent amount of maps and matchups where it can actually do well. But ever since maybe you're going to put it here, but ever since the Man of Steel meta ended, Infantry is of course not the powerhouse it used to be, which takes this division down a little bit. And of course you don't have any 2K, so HE you have, but not AT. So on some maps it can be a little bit of a struggle, like the 2K maps, you know what I mean. Those maps are not great for this division, so maybe you're gonna have to put it to cool division, but more situational, as it really cannot contest any 2K whatsoever, even against a not dedicated 2K division that has a little bit of 2K. This division will struggle sometimes, so we're gonna put it there. It is, I would say, not super hard to play, and a lot of fun, and very unique. On the challenging level, I think it's not that high. You have a lot of very powerful tools to deal with a lot of things. First, Fallschirmjäger, okay in strength and in uniqueness. It is unique in its build, German Fallschirmjäger division, and then you only have Tigers as actual tanks. You do have some Jagdpanzers in the AT tab, but only one card, I think, phase lock to A-phase, and you have one like support Stück, and that's about it in terms of armor. So you have this very weird combination of heavy tanks and then infantry that wants to fight at mid to close range. You have a good combination of supporting tools, some artillery, some decent planes, some good support weapons. Recon is okay-ish. So it just sits in a spot where it's one of those, you know, division that is really fun to play because it has some strengths, but it also has a lot of things that it can deal with, but you really need to work for it, which is very rewarding in my opinion. So this is a lot of these divisions that sit like up here. Also have this, as you might notice. I personally really like this, also why this sits up here. Skijäger. Unique and fun, but hard to find a game. This is another one that is kind of a little bit like First Fallschirmjäger, but just worse and more situational. As in, it has some strong tools, actually. It's just that you need to work hard for quite a few things. A lot of fun, though, and I think if the MP44s get buffed, not if, when they finally get buffed, it might move up into here, because it might be a little bit strong in channel. It has some cool captured Soviet equipment. It has a very unique unit with the KV-2. I think it's called KV-2. No other division has it, and it's fun to play. So, yeah, it's more of an infantry division, and it has its issues. CQC is not the strongest point. Again, with the MP44, you can probably work around that to some extent once it gets buffed. And it has some fun tools otherwise. So but it's I would say at the moment it's difficult to play. Moving on, Second Marcello is another difficult to play one. For me, this is strong but not very interesting. It is unique as in you have a Hungarian unit with a bazooka, like an infantry unit. The rest are standard Hungarian tools. and standard Axis tools with a Hungarian name, but that doesn't really change the unit itself. Other than that, yeah, it just doesn't really have much interesting for me personally. It is a strong one. It is powerful. It can fight on a lot of maps, also thanks to its tank tab, and you're actually not running out of CQC. But in terms of uniqueness and special, it's, I don't know, doesn't feel that high up. But this one, 20th Panzergren. Unique and fun, but hard to find a good game. Because like this is super cool. You have, if you like Axis heavy stuff, like this is a cool one. I mean, you get the Elephant, which is okay, and then you get like 2 or 3 really unique and special Axis units. One thing is you get the like Tiger Commander, that is the alternative Tiger version, I think from Porsche or something like that. That's actually pretty good, and it's a Commander too. Like it's just cool, and you also get the Flakpanzer Panther and the Flakpanzer T-34, which can actually obliterate like Shermans. I have seen that live. You don't want to risk them, of course, but you know, if it happens, actually really fun units. So those are interesting too. Other than that, but it just struggles. Like you don't have a lot of CQC. A medium tank is strict force, which are good, but you don't have a ton of them, and you kind of wish you had some light stuff sometimes as well on some maps and in some matchups. So this can be a struggle, but for open maps, it can actually be really fun to play. So I will put it there. 20th Panzer. You could definitely put it here, and if I put this there, you could argue that this should be here as well, and that's totally fair. This is where this playlist plays. This tier list is subjective. I think this belongs here. I think this belongs there. 20th Panzer, it just has a lot of the good Axis tools mixed in there, like the Panzer Freeze, Recon Panzer Free as well. It's not that different, but you know what I mean. And then you get the support Panzers, Panzer 4, support Panzer 3. You get all the good Marders. You get the GO, which is not in that many divisions and really strong, actually. You get good Stukas. And you get capture Soviet equipment on top of it, like T-34s, which is great because they have a cheap and medium tank. And on top of that, you also get an IS-2, which, in contrast to the King Tiger, is actually a good, super heavy tank. At least in some situations. So that just puts this division in a nice spot. And then you get some unique infantry options with the Panzergren DP, and it just fits together so nicely. It's fun to play, and it's all so strong. And it's a classicer that I think everyone has to love somehow. Next up, 21st Panzer. So this one, I'm having a hard time with it. It has some uniqueness. I guess we're going to put it into decent. The problem is I don't think it's that okay in terms of strength. Well, I guess if 15 Scots is there, this can be there too. It's not the worst. You don't play this for the King Tiger that you get, but you get one. But you have Shermans, which in an Axis deck is actually would be nice to have. You get the Lorraine, 2 of them actually, which is not super common and actually a lot of fun to use. You have some light armor. Your infantry is lackluster, and you don't have a lot of it. That's a bit of the issue. It's not that lackluster, but you know, the amount that you get is more of an issue. And AA is kind of a bit of an issue. Okay, we're going to put it to decent. AA is a bit of an issue. AT is not fantastic, but it just has some things going for it that makes it interesting. The armor mix, again, is something that we don't see everywhere. Toulon, meh, at best. It looks fun on paper when you first look at it, until you really look into it and realize that there's just nothing here that really works well. And there's not a lot of maps and matchups where this thing can really perform. It is very unique. You get a very unique mix of things. But it's just these one, you know. So my criteria for this is they are at least decently playable and decently strong on some maps. And Toulon is really just not there. Like most of these will be stronger on their dedicated map than Toulon on its dedicated map. I don't even know what map that will be for Toulon. And that just makes it a rough division. It's not that it can't counter some divisions on certain maps. but you don't really want to play this. Again, I mean, this is looking more for quick play in general. Interestingness and Toulon is really just relatively low. It's hard to play as well. By the way, I forgot. I forget this every time. Easy, mid to easy, mid, hard-ish, hard-ish, hard. Next up though, 25th Panzergren. Okay in strength and uniqueness. This is about the definition of a very mid-tier division, but you know, as in it really sits in the middle. It's not, you know, if some playlists have like the average. A lot of divisions are in average and more are above than below, which is not actually average then. But this division, this is about as mid-tier as it gets. Which means it's decent. You can have fun with it. You can play it. It's not the greatest division that has ever been, though. It is also not super unique. It has a nice little touch. It's an infantry division, but you do get some light armor, some of the SPWs to work with, which not a lot of them get. You get the Stoßtrupp MP44. You do get a large infantry tab. You have some Nebelwerfers. You have the K35 or 35K. The Czechin, the Czechish artillery piece that is actually pretty good. And you get some good planes with the ME210 as well. So it just has, a mix. It's just standard German infantry division. But then in all the other tabs, you get some goodies mixed in that just makes it a little bit more fun than usual, actually, and makes it also a bit better. And you have tools for about every range. Also, you have the Nebelwerfer in there, the 300mm, which is pretty good. So it has decent strengths and there's a little bit of uniqueness, just a little bit of flavor that makes it more interesting to play. 25th Hadastali, I don't really play this, so it's possible it might be here. I will put it here because I just can't really see where you want to really play this. It is unique. You have the Czerny, which not a lot of divisions have. This one and 8CAV, basically. Can't think of another one that has it. And it's a cool tank, It's not a bad tank. But you rely quite a bit on it, which can be a bit of a weakness. The Hungarian infantry of this division is nothing phenomenal. You don't have a lot of other special units. You have good artillery, and I think you have at least one Nimrod, but I might be mistaken. So it has some stuff going for it. It's just nothing phenomenal. So we maybe put it into decent. I think we do. 26th. Up here, I think we can count it as having some uniqueness. Difficult, by the way. We can definitely say it has some uniqueness. You have some of the more special Soviet tools like the KV-85, the Sturmoviki ROKs. I think the regular Sturmoviki. These are not your everyday Soviet division unit. It is relatively common, but not super common. You can also get the what's it called? You get a tank that is a little bit better than a regular T-34. I don't remember which one it is, but it's not the KV one. It's something else. But that just makes it a little bit better also in the tank tab. Just unique in a few ways and interesting. And you get the L2 tank buster, which is really strong, really fun to use. Decently strong. I think you do get an Andriusha, which is also pretty strong, pretty fun to use. So there's just a nice mix of things in there that can be fun to play, and that is not in every Soviet division. That gives it that enough uniqueness, I would say. Also, no Panzer Rex can be a challenge sometimes, so it has that requirement also fulfilled. And for me, yeah, it's a cool one, but it's a bit more situational, as of course it doesn't really have 2K. I mean, you have the ISU-152, but that's. You don't want to go against a very dedicated 2K division against with that, because they will die eventually. Then you have nothing left. But he can do it, and that's what counts. 26th Panzer. Cool division, and likely fun. Will lead to fun games too. This is strong and is very unique. You have a lot of cool things in there. First of all, for a German tank division, your infantry tab is actually quite big. You get a special unit as well with Stoßtrupp Beretta, which is pretty strong. In a you get Panzer Freeze, which is great. You get light armor in the recon tab as well. You get the Stryk M42 and some support Stryks, so you actually get some of the cheaper Italian Stryks as well, which are pretty fun too. On top of that, you get some cool Italian planes. You get the very unique, because it's only one card with one unit and only this one division of the, I forgot what the name was, but it's an AA piece that is mobile and has a big gun. So it's also very cool there. It has some weakness with the AA, and it's interesting not having an AT on it, so that can make it tricky at times and just add a little bit more flavor to it, again, which I personally like. It's that, it's that thing that I really like about this division. If they have there's some spiciness in there somewhere where you have something that can be an issue that you have to think about and work around, but you also have enough strong tools to kind of compensate it, and that's definitely one of them. Next up, 28, the Jaeger. This is very unique and fun, but it's hard to find a good game for you. This one is easy, by the way. This one is difficult because your infantry, while unique, is just not good. It's high unit, but it is not that good. With the MP40 buff, it's definitely better than it used to be, but the lack of shock in this division is a problem. Again, might get a little bit better with the MP44 buff when that comes, but I'm not sure how much. It's just a struggle boat. You have very unique infantry tab. The other tools that you have are nothing unique, but the combination is kind of cool. It's just that on most CQC maps, you're limited to more close range maps, and on those maps you are limited to playing against some divisions that are not specialized on CQC, because those will outshine this division. That's basically what it comes down to. So that's why this is not super high. I would definitely recommend giving it a try though, as this one can be fun. It's actually a bit more versatile than this. It's just because, in terms of what maps you can play this on, right? This is not the CQC, as focused on CQC as this one. The problem is just that it just gets outshined on most maps by other divisions, but it can definitely fight on more maps than this, for example, can, or that 20th Panzer can. I mean, 20th Panzer can technically fight more. 20th Panzer can technically fight more than this, because this one just doesn't have any range whatsoever. This one does, so technically you can play this everywhere, but you don't really want to play that CQC at all. 29th Tank, whoop, straight up there. Really fun to play, and it has a cool mix. But it is not, it has a unique mix. It doesn't have any unit that is unique, but the combination of Soviet armor tool is really fantastic. And you don't see that very often. You basically get everything that you could want. You get recon Shermans, you get T-34s of all sorts, you get IS-2s, you don't have the regular Valentine, but you get the recon one, which is also not bad. So you get all these kind of things mixed together and still have okay infantry, and some of it's not the best, but And this thing is also, you can play this on most maps, really. Heavy CQC maps are, of course, a problem for this division because you just don't have the infantry for it. But on so many maps, this can work, and it is a lot of fun to play. And you can play it, I would say, against in a lot of matchups too. I'm not saying that, it is good for all matchups, but there's a good amount of chance that you find a matchup where you have at least a playing chance. And when I say that you can play, that doesn't necessarily mean you will win easily on most maps. That just means that you can, they have a fighting chance on most maps, which in some cases, like for these, for example, can really be a problem, because you on a lot of maps you might not have a fighting chance of this division, and this is where this actually comes in and is quite a bit better. Moving on to 10th tank, second tank, sorry. This one, meh. It's basically 10th tank, but without any uniqueness. So it kind of goes into the same thing as these. And we have to put it into decent, I guess, because this is at least playable on more maps than these two, in my opinion. And that makes it quite a bit. But then you lose out on some maps because you have 2K tools, but compared to, Axis proper 2K division, like the T-3045 doesn't really count. So maybe put it back to meh. It's not actually that bad. It's just not special, in my opinion. And again, there's a selection of maps where you really can't play with this. Well, this is okay. This is true for all the decent ones. We're going to put it to decent. This is where it's going to sit. Blinde. Blinde is, and this is an easy one, by the way. Blinde is, I would say, medium difficulty, and it's a cool division, but more situational. It has all the American tools, but it has the usual French twist to it, like DFL. A bit less so, but you get the cool American stuff, like all the nice and shiny toys. You get the nicest and shiniest toys of them all, actually, which is the Sherman 76 with 100 millimeters of armor. This is fantastic. It's about the best. Yeah, it is hands down the best medium tank that you can get, really, in my opinion. So this is a cool one. Problem is it's limited to town fights, and against pure infantry divisions, it can be a problem sometimes. Against pure armor divisions on more open maps, you will struggle as well. In towns, though, it can actually do a lot of damage against a lot of different divisions, but it still has its issues sometimes. So this is cool, but definitely more situational for me. So this next one is going to be very controversial. I'm pretty sure of that, because this right here is where it belongs for me. And I know some people will be like, but Commander Al, come on, like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, this division, it is strong, it has unique units, it's fun to play. This gotta be on top in a cool division, which is also like giving you a fun game. Like, this is top. To which I answer, I don't care. Because, like, if you make your tier list, you can put it there. But as a disclaimer that I made, this is my tier list, and it's subjective. So I take the liberty of putting it there because the reason for this being mostly historical reasons, but it used to be a really, like, the powerhouse of a division that you can get. And super cheesy for me personally, and I just don't like this of that. I don't like these absolute top cheese divisions. It used to be that kind of a little bit, at least when I started, which is one of the reasons why I don't like it too much. Other than that, the division actually has some unique and fun units, like I forgot what it's called, I think Demolition Group or something like that. The Sea-Phase locked unit with Bazooka and a Flamer, which is pretty nice. You have the different Rangers, which are unique. But they also got Commando, which is also disgusting. So one of the more reasons why I don't like this particularly. But and the Rhinos. So, objectively viewed, I think we can put it there. It's just that I personally don't like it to be there because of that legacy. But again, this is my subjective tier list. You are, of course, free to judge that differently as you wish. And I also don't judge anyone for putting it up there either. But if you want to have a fun one, it's not that hard to play, but you need to be able to get into combined arms a bit, right? If this is something that you can work with, then this is not that hard. If you struggle with it, you are not gonna have a lot of fun with this. Next up, second New Zealand. Cool division, but more situational. Now we're gonna put in Oaken strengths and weaknesses. The reason why I put it here is the problem that it has. It is unique. It has a lot of interesting units. You got some cool recon units. You got some cool, I think it's the support tab, the support stack count, which is also fun. You got a lot of fun infantry. The problem is just that it lacks a little bit in 2K. You have 2K tools. It's just not good as a dedicated 2K division. But you're probably going to have fun with this on most maps, right? You can play this on any map, really. Just the reason why I put it in the OK in strength and uniqueness is it is so slow with the transport, and that can really be a pain. Yes, you have some stack hands to make up for that, but it just doesn't do that enough. And that can be super painful with this division and really hurt it a lot on a lot of maps and a lot of matchups, which is why, for me personally, it cannot go higher than OK. As much as I wish it could be here if the transport were actually fast, but for me, it just belongs in there. As for the difficulty, the transport really make it hard, in my opinion. Otherwise, it would be intermediate or maybe even low difficulty. I mean, for all the Western Allied divisions, you do have to know your combined arms if you want to really have success with them. A lot of the units, like some divisions like DFL, have some units that are very strong individually on their own. but a lot of these Western Allied divisions have units that individually are not that strong, but if you mix them together in the right way, they are incredibly powerful and will shred a lot of things. And this is where the difficulty for these comes from. Assuming that, yeah. So whenever for an Western Allied division I say it's an easy one, that is assuming that you know how to use combined arms, because otherwise they can be very difficult. 352nd, this is meh. Also played in a very recent Playing Area Division video, and it's just, it has the Jagdpanther, but that's not that unique anymore. I mean, it's one of 3 divisions instead of just 1, which it used to be when it came out, but that was before I started playing anyway. So, but yeah, otherwise it just doesn't really have anything going for it that makes you want to play this. So it is definitely more unique than, you know, these 2. But it's not in a good way unique. That's kind of the issue. 358th, meh. It has a little bit of uniqueness, but it's too meh overall. I don't really want to play this outside of a very limited amount of CQC maps. And even on those, most divisions do things better than this one. I think there's a unique unit in there. It's Grupa Chachistki, something like that. I think it's in that one, if I remember correctly. But yeah, that's about it. Other than that, it's all the standard stuff and just not really good. 3rd tank. This one is in, I would put it in okay in strength and weakness. It's a Soviet tank division, but you have Shermans, which are good. You have IS-2s, which are good. In the right spot, at least. I'm going to put it here, probably. Because at the end of the day, the issue that this division has is your infantry kind of sucks. And in a lot of matchups, it's hard to get the support for infantry that you need because it doesn't have the end-all be-all. I don't know, we're going to put it here. Played it recently in a tournament game. Also casted that one. And, you know, it has some fun tools. You can play with it. You can have fun with it. There's things that this division has going. It's just not phenomenal. And, yeah, like everything purely mid-range is probably not where you want to play this, except for some matchups where even there the IS-2 is an absolute beast. And you might be able to use it well. But otherwise, not really. 3rd Fallschirmjäger, I mean, this one is cool division and more situational. I think what we're missing, I've changed this so many times, and what we're missing is something that is like a little bit unique and decently strong, or like just not, I don't know, something in between here, but for strength purely. Because this division, I mean, is not really unique. But it's decently strong, at least on mid-range maps. Close-range maps can work as well, depending on which one, and depending on the matchup. You do have the tools for it. It has nothing really unique. I would say Fallschirmjäger units are not counted as super unique. Well, it has one, the Fallschirmsturmjäger, I think it's called, the MP44 one. And that's about it. That's about the only unit in here that is actually Giga Strong, or unique, sorry. It's Giga Strong, but it's also the only unit in here that's actually unique. Everything else we've seen in other divisions as well. Maybe the L6 Recon tank, not started saying it in German. I know that sounds weird if you hear it in English and just hear that word, but that's 6 in German. Well, technically it's 6, but you'll pronounce it that way. But anyway, it's okay. You know, it used to be an absolute powerhouse. It still is in some maps, and it can absolutely dominate in some matchups. But it can have its issues as well, and that's why I would say it's okay in strength and uniqueness, but it's definitely carried down here by the uniqueness. Otherwise, it's just too situational to be in this one. But yeah, I think this is where it belongs. 3rd Mechanized. Oop. Cool division also, maybe here. Because everything with 2K is strong for this. You don't really have any tools for that. However, otherwise, you have not only super good tools with Shermans, some T-34s, a ton of the Recon Dushka things, and a cool, unique infantry. All these things are there. You have the Partisani, which are cool. All these kind of things. It's just that everything with range is a little bit of a problem. But it is both unique in the combination of tools that it has. You also get 2 cards at least of Valentine's, which is most divisions only get 1. So you actually can bring some B phase too, which everyone's gonna hate you for this, but you know you can do it, and you should. But this is yeah, it's just so fun to play because it's powerful and it has some uniqueness, and the combination of tools is also very unique. But anything with range is gonna be very tricky for this. By the way, this one I would say is easy. This one is medium these times. Now we're gonna get to a hard one. Unique and fun, but hard to find a good game. Now, if Koenig is watching this, he will judge me for this, because for him, this is probably like here, maybe even here. I'm going to put it here. For the sole reason that it is super hard to play properly. And it's very often you will really struggle because this division does not have a lot of tools. It has a really special combination of tools. It's just, you will be in a lot of situations where you need to be the absolute god master of combined arms to make this work properly, and god master of the macro game as well, so that your opponent cannot bring in some situations where you really struggle with this division. And most people just can't do that. And it's just, on a lot of maps, you're probably not going to have a lot of fun with it. But that's just what it is. I know that in the hands of Koenig or someone like that, it's different, but I would say for most average players, this is not going to be a fun one. In most cases, it is unique though. Like a lot of the units are not necessarily unique themselves, but the combination, the limitations, definitely, and the jumbo. But this is very difficult to play. Third Canadian goes to be one of my favorite. I would put it's either here, or if you want to be more objective, probably here. The Kangaroo rifles are making it unique, yes. There's only 2 divisions that have them. And then I guess you have the Stormtroopers, but it's a field engineer with some actual SMGs. And like 1 man more. It's not very unique, to be honest. So it could definitely go here as well. Or here or here. But for me, this is just, I just always loved this. I loved this when it wasn't broken. It was never broken, but it was definitely strong. And I think it still is decently strong. It's great that mid-range you have. CQC is still a bit of an issue, like for most Commonwealth divisions, but it is what it is. You can play it on most town maps. You can even contest the open a little bit, as you at least have some Fireflies, you have tons of 2 kg, and you have all the 17 pounds that you could want. So, there's enough things in these divisions that can make it work decently well. It has some issues, which again makes it interesting because you need to try and work around that. But it has some very strong tabs with the infantry, tank, air, it is nothing phenomenal, but it's good. Like standard British AT tab is good. So there's just a lot of things that work super well with this division, and I just like how it plays. But again, it's one of these that needs combined arms. I would say it's an easy one to play, which is not true for the next one. Third VDV. This is such a cool division. Like it has a concept of what this division wants to do, and it does that super well. The problem is just that it's very restricted on what map, on the selection of maps that this concept actually works. But it's really cool on those. Great CQC. It don't actually have bazookas, which I think having them would actually make it quite a bit better. But yeah. And it can really contest other divisions at CQC that are good at CQC on CQC maps, like absolutely. And it has a lot of unique divisions. You have the Sandniki and the Sandniki DT. You have some other fun infantry options. Well, I guess they're not super unique, but the combination of it certainly is. You have some light planes that you can use for fun as well. You have some of the Valentines. You have the Russian 120 with radio, and just a lot of the good Soviet tools combined with some weird ones that you don't see every day. And it has a theme to it. It's a difficult one to play. A really cool division though, in both in uniqueness and the combination of the tools that you get. Same, in my opinion, applies for 43rd Reserve. This is also a really cool one. It has some issues though. which is not a lot of tanks, medium ones that is, and AA mostly, and not a lot of line infantry. But it has a really cool mix of like long range Soviet power with all the 2kg that you could want and the mighty IS-2s. And on top of that, you get something like Stavniki Avto, which are just absolutely shredding everything at CQC. And the combination is just so fun. The problem is just there's not that many maps where this actually works. Need maps where you need both 2k power and a lot of CQC, and there's not that many maps where those two tools exclusively makes a division good. And then you still have to fear strong AA divisions, or divisions that have strong artillery, because you're relying on 85 mils, which are so easy to target, shut down, because you can't just buy a ton of them because they are pricey. That's part of the issue. And whenever you have IS-2s, you really need to protect it from air attacks, and that's part of the issue that this division has. 44th, I would put it to decent at best. I'm actually going to put it to meh. It has a lot of the standard Soviet tools, but it just doesn't have a lot of them. Like the tank tab is not great. Like the tanks that you get are great. It's just you get a lot of them. That's part of the issue, in my opinion. And you don't have any really special tool that makes it super strong. It's playable. It's not that it's not, but it's, in my opinion, it's just boring. And it gets outshined by Soviet Division on their dedicated maps. On top of this not being able to play a 2K, really. For Fallschirmjäger, to be honest, I'm not really sure where to put this. I feel like it's still very strong overall, but it's definitely fallen off, so you could put it here as well. It has uniqueness. For me, it's just not interesting. Again, maybe also because of historical reason, a little bit like second US. Back in the Man of Steel meta, when they changed the Fallschirmjäger divisions, this thing was absolutely broken. Like, this was not fun. If you want to play a broken division that was not as speedy, this was probably the next best you could take, and it just isn't super fun. For me personally, it's strong but not interesting, but it definitely has the uniqueness, so I could like it is justified over here. It's kind of like second US, really, but it has its issues. You know, you don't have a lot of medium tanks worth it. Actually, no, we have one card, and then some support tanks that can fill that role. But if you want to airspam, this is the division of choice. You have unique infantry with some Italian options like the Paracadutisti and some other options. So the uniqueness is there. I guess I'm gonna put it here. I think, yeah, we need to account for the uniqueness, you know. In strength, it's probably more here, to be honest. For Monte, I don't play this very often, but when I play, I always have a great time. Otherwise, probably here, difficult to play. Since I forgot this again, this one is not so difficult to play. This one is difficult to play, and not hard to play. This one is difficult to play, but for me, it's up there. It is very unique. Like, you have the face locking of tank, of course, to B phase and C phase. You have the double sniper recon infantry, which is really cool. Infantry tab is actually pretty good as well. Also, you have radar trade, which is phenomenal. I can't really complain about that. You have some fun light armor / support, AT / support tank options that can at least help you out a little bit in A phase. It makes it interesting too. And again, your infantry is very special, as well as your recon infantry. The whole combination just works super well. And it's challenging. Like, there is things that this division can do super well, and there's a lot of things that this division can't do super well. I need to find a way to work around that, which for me makes it all interesting, as always. So that is why it's one of my favorite. Let's see, we can do maybe 2 or 3 more, and then it's probably, I think we're starting to get towards the half of it. This one is easy. No fun allowed. Not having, and yes, you get a light tank in A phase, and yes, you get a recon panther in B phase, but for all intents and purposes, you don't have tanks till C phase. Nothing that you can really work with that you have plenty of, and that makes it so frustrating to play. Now, you wish your infantry could fill that gap, but guess what? It can't. And yeah, you maybe have fun with this if you really figure out how to play this in a very specific way. I know some people do, like Luna. But for me, this is a no fun allowed division. You're going to play this and you're probably going to absolutely hate your life. So do yourself a favor and don't do it. Probably pick it over 12th, but yeah, that's about that. Next up, though, 5th calf. Okay in strength and uniqueness. Now, why do I put it there? I mean, it's a Romanian division. It is unique. Romanian. There's not that many Romanians, and it has some unique units there as well. But like, it's not that unique if you compare to the other Romanians in a lot of ways. Like a lot of the tools that we have in other Romanian divisions as well, and it is fun to play there. Like I definitely got inspired by Attack Bow with him playing Romanians, and I really liked them too. And it was actually better, I think, than it is now in the infantry meta. But it has let down a little bit. It has some cool infantry units though. If you like infantry divisions, this is a fun one to try. And yeah, you have some cool infantry. Tank tab is a little bit lackluster, but you have weird combination in the AT tab and these kind of things. It's again one of those that is just, it is a bit tricky to play sometimes, and that makes it interesting for me personally. I just think that gives it like that nice little touch that makes it so much more fun to play, so much more interesting and engaging. So I'm almost tempted. We have to put it over there. We do have. Next, 5th Gebirgsjäger. Now, if I have to pick where this goes, this is probably going to be here, but it's again one of my favorites. So the only reason why it's not here, because it definitely used to be at some time. The only reason why it's not in this one is it's not as strong as it used to be, again with the nerf of the infantry a while ago actually, and it doesn't have the 2k. You would need that and you don't have it. So I mean, you have some 2k, but the ATs is a bit of a problem. But it's so fun. Like, you have very unique infantry units with the leader, the regular Gebirgsjäger, the Gebirgsjäger MP40, MP44. I think it's Gebirgssturmjäger or something like that. And the Gebirgsschlosstrupp, which is still only 20 points, despite having Beretta +2, which is nice though, because this division is, it's not that strong as you can see otherwise. And this division helps you quite a bit and just makes it a bit more interesting. And what should I say? The combination of tools is also really fun, because if you look at it on paper, it looks like absolutely horrible, yet still it somehow works. And it's another one of these where you actually have to put in the work to make it work. It doesn't just work on its own, right? You have to be daring at times, but you do have to use your things in a smart way for it to work out, because otherwise with the limited tools that you have, you can really quickly get in a situation where you can't get out of and just lose very quickly. So this is another reason why I love this, but it's also strong. So we're these two are more of a fun to play but hard to play, and we're usually gonna have a rough time. These two are, you play this and you have a good chance of getting good games in most maps. Next up, 5th SS, I think? Viking, at least, that's the name that I know. This one is a cool division and likely gives a fun game. I would actually put it high up. A reason being, this counters Western Allied armor super well. You also have tools to deal. You can still fight the Soviets. You have some captured Soviet equipment, which is the main reason why it's actually good against Western Allied armor. But in contrast to some other German tank divisions, much like 26, you actually get a decently big infantry tab, which allows you to really fight in infantry ranges as well. And this makes it so much more playable. You get decent support tools with good bombers, a good AT plane, your artillery. It's standard German artillery, but you can support infantry, same for support that. There's not all the tools that you would want there, but there's definitely some. And it just ends up being as a whole a division that is a lot of fun to play, that works well. And again, it has those unique tools. You get the Recon Panzer III, which is not super unique, but it's one of those Axis tools that you wish more divisions had. Then you get the T-34, 85, the captured one. You get the Su-76 captured one. You also get one unique with the Bergpanzer, which is really cool and super cheap actually for what it can do, but it's only in this division, and you can't take it with a lot of units anyway as transport. So I guess it's fair, but yeah, it is a cool one. You could maybe put it here, but I think it's more situational than some of these, as you can at least play it on more maps and in more matchups than some of these. I'm not saying that it is better than some of these in most maps of these maps, but you can probably play this on every map and at least have a chance of having some success. And I think we're going to do the last fun for today, which is 6 South African. I'm not really sure if I should put it here or here. I'm going to put it here. It's a cool one. It's just really cool. It has some uniqueness. You have actually a lot of Sherman 76s. You do have cool infantry combination, a cool bomber combination. You do get some M8s, which is not super common. And you have your issues that we need to work around, which is not having a lot of light armor outside of the recon tab, which is a thing. Your infantry is definitely a weakness too. But you have another fantastic tool with the M10 Grouse. I just never know how to pronounce it. If anyone knows, let me know. Which is really cool. So there's just the nice little things here that are fun, while also the division itself being somewhat challenging at times. In a lot of times, actually. But you can play this on quite a few maps, actually, with a decent chance of success. And that makes it overall decently fun for me, in my opinion. And I think at this point, we can probably stop and we do the next ones next time. So there's a good amount of divisions left, and I'm actually curious myself to see how this whole thing will fill up as we go. For some of them, I have spent some thoughts on them. For some of them, I actually haven't. I've made a whole tier list, S tier to F tier at some point, and I already forgot again where I put them, so I'm doing this from the top of my head now without any help from that tier list, because I think it's more interesting for me, also maybe for you to watch it, and not just looking at the division and like, oh yeah, this goes over there because of that. So hope you enjoyed it so far. It's a bit of a different one. It's not a super serious one, but I really hope that I inspired some of you maybe also to check out some of the division that you might otherwise not have. And if one of you does it, my mission here is accomplished. So with that, thank you for watching. Have a great day and see you next time.